All right, we're here. It's Monday on another week ahead that's going to be pretty jam-packed with tons of stuff to cover. It's Illinois in Focus Daily. I'm Greg Bishop. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Wake up with us each and every weekday morning here for Illinois in Focus, where you can join the live chat. It's always a good group of people regularly joining in to share their thoughts about what's going on in the various stories that we're covering here, and just putting out that social message to join us live now. All right, so what we're tackling today, we've got the Illinois State Fair this week, and big political days, Wednesday and Thursday. So Wednesday's Governor's Day, Thursday's Republican Day. Obviously, we'll see who in the Republican field surfaces as potential candidates to take on Governor JB Pritsker vying for a third term, so maybe we'll get some of that this week. Petitions are circulating, but they don't file those petitions officially until October, so we'll get to that eventually. But we'll see what kinds of names are actually going to surface at the state fair, and a lot of questions about leadership in the Republican Party and how that's going to play out in the 2026 election here in the state of Illinois. So that's just a kind of a preview of some of the things we're going to be hearing, of course, later on this week. And Governor's Day Wednesday is going to be a big day as well. You got Democrats welcoming Hakeem Jeffries as their keynote speaker for a brunch, and then some other things happening Wednesday, a naturalization ceremony where individuals from foreign countries going through the process to become naturalized U.S. citizens, around 400 of them are going to be naturalized at the state fair on Wednesday morning as well. So a lot's going to be happening at the state fair. It'd be interesting to see how I can get that all covered. So be sure to wake up with us each and every weekday morning for that. Some other things that we're going to be doing today, we are going to tackle three issues in particular. One, the ongoing issue around gerrymandering and Texas looking to gain 5 Republican congressional seats. Now there's talks apparently about Indiana and Missouri doing the same, but Democrats wanting to counter Republicans could possibly change their maps. Got a high hurdle to clear in California if they want to do that. They're going to have to kind of give themselves a one-time pass in how they want to do partisan gerrymandering in California. But what about Illinois? Could Illinois change its maps? Some are saying that Illinois can't gerrymander anymore, and the whole thing is highlighting the hypocrisy between Democrats saying that they're against gerrymandering while they're doing those complaints from states that are gerrymandered. So we'll have to tackle that back and forth. Plus, I talked with Illinois State Senator Jill Tracy, who is the local counsel for the House of Representatives from Texas, suing in the state of Illinois to have the Texas warrant recognized by the state of Illinois. So we'll tackle that as well. Plus, a lot of you have been asking about energy prices. You're getting hit. Small businesses are getting hit with higher prices. ComEd and Ameren across the states looking at double-digit rate increases upwards to 40+%. Some Republicans say that enough's enough and legislators need to get back into the state capitol to tackle that. Plus, you've got the Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem making a stop in Illinois on Friday, and we'll share some of what she had to say. So that's what's coming up here today with Illinois in Focus Daily. All right, be sure to get to the headlines in your inbox by going to thecentersquare.com, where you can click newsletter. Give us your email. It's free, and once you are there, then you'll be able to get those headlines each and every weekday morning. So you can also donate at thecentersquare.com. We are a nonprofit newswire service, so find out details at thecentersquare.com. Obviously, though, you can wake up with us here each and every weekday morning for Illinois in Focus Daily. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Just a reminder, I know a lot of you are doing it, but some of you aren't. So be sure to get those notifications when you wake up with us each and every weekday morning for Illinois in Focus Daily. Battle over legislative maps continues, with Texas still on the hunt for those Democrat members of their Texas House of Representatives hiding out in a state like Texas, complaining about gerrymandering when Illinois is well recognized as probably the worst gerrymandered state in the nation. And the debate continues, with Governor JB Pritsker making national headlines because of an interview he did on Meet the Press. It's Illinois in Focus Daily. I'm Greg Bishop, here with you each and every weekday morning. Find more at thecentersquare.com. So various clips that are being shared on social media of Governor Pritsker on NBC's Meet the Press. Here he criticizes the President of the United States and also the Republicans, he says, are illegally gerrymandering. Here he is on NBC over the weekend.
Hyper unpopular in Texas, among people in Texas and across the country. And he knows he's going to lose the Congress in 2026. That's why he's going to his allies and hoping that they can save him. And we've all got to stand up against this. It's cheating. Donald Trump is a cheater. He cheats on his wives. He cheats at golf. And now he's trying to cheat the American people out of their votes.
So Pritzker saying that he's cheating, but there's no federal law, from my understanding, blocking states from being able to change their congressional maps mid-decade, right? You change maps every 10 years with the census, but there's no law that prohibits them from changing mid-cycle or mid-decade or anytime they want to change their maps, and that's what Texas is doing. But those Texas Democrats fleeing the states came to a state like Illinois, and in particular, you've got the FBI that apparently is now being involved to help locate these Texas Democrats in other states like in Illinois. And Pritzker told NBC that they're going to be kept safe in the state of Illinois because he believes that there's no federal law that's Texas Democrats are breaking. Here's the governor.
Well, first of all, Texas law does not apply in the state of Illinois, and there's no federal law that would allow the FBI to arrest anybody that's here visiting our state. So it's a lot of grandstanding. That's what this is all about. And so John Cornyn, who's trying to run for re-election, apparently losing to an even more extreme MAGA Republican, Ken Paxton, trying to get some headlines for himself. And Greg Abbott, of course, has been a disaster for the country as he sent people across the country on his quest to change the immigration discussion. And, of course, we had 50,000 migrants that were sent to the state of Illinois because of him. So what I can tell you is that the Texas Democrats that are here are welcome. We're providing them a safe haven, a place for them to visit and stay, breaking quorum because they're heroes that are standing up not just for their own constituents and for the people of Texas and their rights, but also for the rights of people all across the country. Because what Greg Abbott is doing and what Donald Trump is attempting to do is to cheat. Mid-decade here, they're attempting to change the map. They know that they're going to lose in 2026, the Congress, and so they're trying to steal seats. And so that is what these Texas Democrats are trying to stand up against. And then don't forget, the map that they put together is it violates the Voting Rights Act and it violates the Constitution. And so thank God for these Texas House Democrats.
So again, he says the map violates this, that, and the way to actually prove that is in court. So pass the map, Democrats can vote against it, bring a lawsuit, and then have that hashed out in the courts. But regardless, Democrats have been on that bully pulpit saying that this is racist, it's illegal, it's breaking the rules, it's unconstitutional, a threat to democracy. I mean, you've heard all of this as Democrats are vowing to fight fire with fire, bring a gun to a knife fight, or rather bring a gun to a gunfight and a knife to a knife fight. While this is going on here in the state of Illinois, the Texas House of Representatives filed a lawsuit in Adams County, Illinois, using Illinois State Senator Jill Tracy as local counsel. I talked with Tracy last week about the lawsuit and how fast they hope to get this thing through because of the ongoing, situation here. They've got a special session down in Texas. They need to get things sorted out. When I talked with Tracy, she really just laid down what exactly it is that they are hoping to achieve with this lawsuit in Adams County filed by the Texas House of Representatives.
Well, I just was contacted by the Texas Attorney General's office to ask if I serve as local counsel for them, and I agreed, and the result was this lawsuit that was filed. And basically, as I said, I'm doing this not in my public capacity as an elected official, but I will say that as an elected official, I took an oath of allegiance to the U.S. Constitution and the Illinois Constitution, and I believe the Texas legislators do a similar oath of office. And I just think that they're elected their duties by leaving the state to avoid votes without sufficient excuse. And so I would hope that if some situation happened like this in Illinois, we would have an attorney in another state serve as local counsel to help our attorney general if we were failing to obtain an order to attend a special session. So I just see it as pretty simple on my end that all states give each other full faith and credit to the laws of another state, and that's under the federal laws. The full faith and credit clause just requires each state to observe the laws of another state as it affects their citizens. So that's pretty in a nutshell. I've asked for the contact of the Texas Attorney General's office, and I will certainly text that to you when I get it, because they know the nuts and bolts of what Texas law is. I just know that Illinois is subject to full faith and credit clause, and I was happy to serve as local counsel to allow that to work out in the courts here.
And when it comes to Texas law in particular, the Republican elected officials filing that lawsuit on behalf of the House of Representatives out of Texas say that Texas Democrats are violating the law of having to show up with. If you have an unexcused absence, then, that's no good. And if you're breaking a quorum, then, they need to be at the Texas legislature and they can be arrested. It's also in the Texas Constitution, from my understanding. But this lawsuit in particular has Texas asking the state of Illinois courts to recognize their warrants to allow them to go and arrest these Texas Democrats. Again, more from Jill Tracy.
It's a petition to show cause as to why they should not be held in contempt for observing the Texas warrants that are issued for their attendance to session. And that's pretty much it in a nutshell. If the judge agrees with us, then they would issue warrants for civil attendance to compel them to go back to Texas to attend their session and abide by Texas laws.
So they need to abide by Texas laws, and the full faith and credits clause has Other states recognizing the laws of other states as it pertains to that other state's residents. More from Jill Tracy, the Republican state senator acting as local counsel for the Texas House of Representatives in a lawsuit that the Texas House filed in Illinois to have Illinois recognize their warrants to arrest Texas Democrats hiding out in Illinois. Pritsker said nothing's going wrong here and there's no federal law. Jill Tracy responding to that.
If I'm called into special session, I have a duty to go, except if I have an excused absence. And that's usually a family emergency or health reasons. But other than that, I took an oath of office to serve Illinois as an elected official, and I have a duty to attend session. That's one of the main things.
Obviously, there's a lot of back and forth with all of this, but how fast is this going to go? The Texas special session only lasts so long. Greg Abbott, the governor of Texas, has said that he is going to call special session over and over again to get the agenda items done, because it's not just the map issue. It's also like relief and changing laws concerning that just absolutely devastating flood that recently happened down in Texas. But the Democrats saying that Republicans aren't focused on that. They're wanting to just change these maps. But the Republicans are saying, no, we are also focused on that. There's a lot of things we can get done in special session. So how quick can this lawsuit the House of Representatives out of Texas filed in Illinois be remedied, dealt with, addressed?
I hope so. I know we're looking for a court date in fairly good order, and the Texas officials are handling that end of it and talking with the court system there now. So, I'll let you know if and when. I mean, I know we'll get one, but when we'll get one, I'll let you know.
So obviously still waiting on all of that, but as the governor has been pretty adamant, saying that the Texas General Assembly is trying to gerrymander, and gerrymandering apparently mid-decade's bad, but if you do it at the beginning of the decade, that's fine. What's Tracy say about Pritsker being against gerrymandering in a state that's heavily gerrymandered?
Well, he certainly has focused a lot of attention on our maps. And if you look at our maps, they are very ugly. And if you look at what they were 10 years ago, 20, 30 years ago, they've certainly changed a lot. And there's parameters of how you draw maps. We, as Republicans, have gone through the court process to have those maps turned aside. Those efforts have failed. But we did it in the legal process. We just didn't leave the state and not vote on the map. We had to vote on the map. We voted no. So I don't know the Texas map, but, just that why would you impede business of the state? I mean, it just doesn't make sense to me. Also we've had referendums be put on the ballot. Or petitions to get a referendum put on the ballot, and courts have struck them down, even though hundreds of thousands, not hundreds of thousands, but tens of thousands of Illinoisans signed those petitions. So we've certainly gone through the process, and we've been struck down. So, but I believe that's the best way to handle if you don't like something. You go through the legal process, and I don't believe the Texas legislators are following their legal process.
So, you got Jill Tracy being the local counsel for the Texas House of Representatives filing a lawsuit in Illinois to try to get Illinois to recognize the warrants that Texas has out for these Texas Democrats avoiding their job. The Trump team, through Rapid Response 47, sharing this particular clip from Meet the Press yesterday of Governor JB Pritsker being approached about his map in Illinois that he signed in 2021 being gerrymandered. And here's that response.
It's the fairness of congressional maps gives your state an F. Common Cause, a nonpartisan government watchdog, even says your map, and I'm going to quote, represents a nearly perfect model for everything that can go wrong with redistricting. And I guess the question is, you talk about preserving democracy. How do you preserve democracy if you're using the same tactics that you've criticized Texas Republicans for?
But as I say, what they're talking about is a distraction. The reality is that the violation of people's voting rights is what Texas is attempting to do. That's what's wrong with their efforts right now. And the fact that the president of the United States knows it and nevertheless is asking them to do it. That is what's wrong with what we're seeing right now. Democracy is at stake.
So again, democracy is at stake, Governor JB Pritsker says, as he criticizes Texas Republicans looking to have a new map that gives Republicans the advantage. Pritsker says that while governing a state in which he signed political maps that were very partisan and squeezed Republicans into wild districts. That I think everybody across the country, when they look at the map, they realize. And Pritsker last week said that, they had kindergartners draw the maps. But then he says on the other side that the maps are constitutional. And interesting, I'm curious how he is going to square that up. He just admit, I was just having fun on a late night talk show and how that's handled. All right, it's Illinois in Focus Daily. I'm Greg Bishop. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Wake up with us each and every weekday morning for Illinois in Focus Daily. That is definitely a story we're going to continue to hear more about all throughout the summer, so hopefully you guys do get the headlines in your inbox at thecentersquare.com. A couple of more segments coming up here, all right? Stay tuned. The Department of Homeland Security continuing their efforts across the country to go after what they say are criminal illegal aliens in the country illegally committing crimes, but because of sanctuary cities like Chicago and elsewhere across the country, they're having to hit the streets to go after these individuals because of a lack of cooperation from local law enforcement. It's Illinois in Focus Daily. I'm Greg Bishop. Get the headlines in your inbox. Go to thecentersquare.com and sign up for the newsletter. Friday, Kristi Noem, Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security, made a stop in Chicago suburbs to talk about the efforts they have underway to address illegal immigration in the state of Illinois and across the country. And she says that they've made many arrests.
Since President Trump has taken office, we have arrested hundreds of thousands of these illegal criminals. I'm here today because the elected leaders in this state of Illinois are ignoring the law. In fact, they're being obstructionists when it comes to getting dangerous criminals off of their streets. They are deciding that dangerous criminals that are murderers, rapists, money launderers, have committed assault, that are trafficking children, are more important than the families that live in the communities here. That includes Governor Pritsker, Mayor Johnson, and others who have worked so hard to protect these dangerous criminals. They'd rather be a sanctuary state and continue to put those individuals above American citizens.
So you've got the ongoing debate. Obviously, we've heard a lot from Governor JB Pritsker and Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson in response to this question of increased immigration enforcement in Illinois and Chicago. Johnson equates it to a whole host of just horrible historical analogs. He says that they're going to stand up against the administration. They've got an effort to notify individuals in the country as non-citizens of their rights and when they have to agree to a warrant and when they don't have to agree to a warrant, and also defending in court the state and local sanctuary policies that prohibit law enforcement from cooperating with immigration officials. And we've heard the governor and the mayor and all Democrats in between really push back against the Trump administration going after illegal aliens and saying that they're going to stand by the policies, even in federal courts where that case is still pending, even though a federal judge said that the case is dismissed, but the Department of Justice can put in another amended complaint to address this. So all of this, boiling around, and you've got ICE continuing to move forward. And Kristi Noem in Illinois Friday saying that ICE is just not getting any cooperation from local officials.
Anybody who serves in law enforcement would say they're used to partners. They're used to being able to call up a local law enforcement officer, a sheriff, a highway patrol officer, and say, hey, do you have any information on this individual that is a murderer that's been cited in your city? That's not happening in Illinois. And when we're calling on those most dangerous individuals, when they're being released from your prisons, they're not even letting us know, not honoring our detainers. When we lodge a detainer against someone, it's when you let that person out of jail who's been paying the consequences, let us know so that we can pick them up and get them out of the country. Illinois is not partnering with us on that, which is very, very difficult when we know that those dangerous criminals are going to run free.
Obviously, if you have somebody who's in the country illegally getting arrested for a crime, they go to jail for a moment. In Illinois, we've got no cash bail, so they just get processed. And police, when they process that individual, if they're an illegal alien, they can't find that out. They can't even ask about that individual's immigration status, and that alone is a red flag for DHS. And if DHS knows, that somebody is, say, in Illinois prison, they're an illegal alien, but they committed a crime, convicted, and they're in prison, and they're about to get out, DHS says the prisons aren't notifying DHS that they have an illegal alien that's being released from prison. So again, that lack of cooperation. And then you have on the other side of things with the political rhetoric that's been used from Mayor Brandon Johnson and Governor JB Pritsker and other Democrats, and the ongoing they talk about the Gestapo and people being sent off to foreign gulags, and just that rhetoric altogether. Obviously, it's going to trigger some people to commit violence against immigration and customs enforcement agents, something that Noam highlighted in Chicago Friday in the Chicago suburbs is a growing problem across the country.
Yesterday, we announced that now our ICE officers are facing a 1,000% increase in assaults against them. And you read about the stories and hear what's happening from coast to coast every day in our national media and in our press. But it's in large part due to the pro-sanctuary state and cities policies and the language of elected bureaucrats and politicians that are reckless with their lives and endangering their families.
And here we are with the ongoing efforts from Immigration and Customs Enforcement, despite a lack of cooperation from Illinois law enforcement. And I imagine there's some that are law enforcement officers in Illinois. Trust me, I hear from them privately in text communications. But you've got people who are saying morale is down, and it's not just the immigration issue here, where they can't even ask an individual their immigration status, despite maybe it being obvious to the law enforcement officer. That's hurting morale. And then you've got the end of cash bail and the Safety Act that is also impacting officer morale. But despite the blocking of cooperating law enforcement with ICE to go after illegal aliens in the country and maybe suspected criminal illegal aliens, Noam says there are other efforts that ICE has undertaken and the Department of Homeland Security has undertaken, including that app that essentially says, hey, get out of the country on your own volition and we'll give you $1,000 or something like that, and you may be able to come back in legally. She says that that's actually been pretty successful as well.
The 20 million campaign was to send a message to people that if they were here in this country illegally, that they should go home on their own. If they wait until we arrest them and we have to remove them, they'll never get the chance to come back to the United States. So it wasn't just on the app, it was also encourage them to voluntarily go home. We know thousands and thousands of people have used the app, but we also know that hundreds of thousands of people have left on their own, not utilizing a government program to do so. I've been to, I think, 10 different Central American and South American countries and visited with their presidents, with their foreign ministers, interacted with the Department of State, and over again, I'm hearing that hundreds of thousands of their citizens are coming home voluntarily.
It's interesting to hear you've got hundreds of thousands of criminally illegal aliens that may be going home on their own instead of being swept up by ICE on the streets of places like Chicago. How that's going to play out publicly with the ongoing politics. We'll continue to watch that here. It is the Center Square with Illinois in Focus Daily. I'm Greg Bishop. Like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell and wake up with us each and every weekday morning. All right, one last segment, guys. There'll be a short one, I promise. Go grab your energy bill. How much has it gone up in the past month? How much has it gone up in the past year? What about the past 5 years? In Illinois, we've got growing energy prices across the states, and it's something that's not just impacting you as a residential customer, it's impacting you as a small business and large businesses alike. And something I think that is getting more and more frustrating for people, as even in the live chat, you've got people talking about, why are my energy prices going up so much? All right, it's Illinois in Focus Daily. I'm Greg Bishop. You can wake up with us each and every weekday morning. And don't forget to get the headlines in your inbox. Go to thecentersquare.com, click newsletter, and you'll be able to sound off in the live chat when you join us each and every weekday morning. But at thecentersquare.com, you'll see the story with the headline, Legislators Urge Return to Capitol to Deal with Increasing Illinois Energy Costs. Got this ongoing issue, and what's behind it, right? We've heard from Governor JB Pritsker talking about, the increased energy prices is because of the PJM, which is a energy grid manager of sorts for all of these different energy producers and getting them online and having the grid work together. PJM is for the northern part of Illinois and a whole bunch of other states, and I believe including the District of Columbia. But you have MISO, which is the southern part of Illinois, and wrapping in some other areas and jurisdictions for their energy grid system. Plus, you've got Commonwealth Edison, ComEd, and Ameren, Illinois, two different energy suppliers providing energy for different parts of the state. And both Ameren and PJM have recently announced that they're going to see rate increases. And in particular, you've got a group called Energy Professionals. They reported that ComEd's rates increased 53%, and Ameren, Illinois' rates increased 47%. It's a big increase, and it's impacting a lot of people. Again, not just residences, but even individuals like business owners. And here we've got a small business owner that was joined by Republican state representatives. Ryan Garrett, he is the owner of Embarrass. It's a bar and grill in Villa Grove, and he said that he got a $1,000 increase in 1 month's time, going from about $2,000 to $3,000 for his energy bill.
Yeah, you get a $3,000 bill when you're not really expecting it. It raises your costs. 1 month or $1,000 in a month. You can't budget for that. You can't plan for that, and then it has a trickle down effect. We're at the point where we've had to cut back on hours of some of our employees and take up those hours ourselves because we can't. Keep up with payroll to pay that stuff, and it seems like it always trickles down to the little guy, like us.
Governor Pritsker has said, again, the grid operators are the ones that are to blame because they're not putting on wind and solar energy generation to the grid quick enough. And Pritsker also blames President Donald Trump for steering the federal government away from subsidizing wind and solar. But the governor hasn't necessarily recognized the impacts of his Climate and Equitable Jobs Act, CEJA, which led towards the potential closure of coal-fired power plants. And while these coal-fired power plants may not have closed yet, they have until 2035 and 2040, depending on the status of it, if it's municipally owned or not, and so on. But just the fact that there's that hard deadline that they have to close it means they're not going to be investing in those anymore, so they may even close before then. You've also got the conversation about nuclear in Illinois. While we did lift the moratorium on small modular reactors, those are still years away from completion, and there is talk about lifting the nuclear moratorium even further to allow for similarly sized nuke facilities that Illinois has now. That moratorium was put in place back, in the 90s or something. Illinois has the most nuclear facilities in the country, but there was apparently a movement back then. I wasn't following the State House back then, but the ideas and the concerns about nuclear energy, people saying that the waste is just too devastating, and they also might point to meltdowns like Chernobyl or something to that effect. But regardless, the governor doesn't seem to want to recognize that the efforts he's put underway over the past few years have really hit Illinois' energy availability and reliability. Republican State Representative Brad Halbrook says that it is indeed these green energy policies that are driving up costs.
The very communities the governor and his allies claim to help have been abandoned. Under CEJA and its predecessor, FEJA, the Future Energy Jobs Act of 2016, Illinois has been shutting down affordable, reliable coal and natural gas plants, sources that actually work and are critical to grid stability. But why? To appease the climate alarmists who think we can power Illinois with windmills and wishful thinking.
Windmills and wishful thinking, Halbrook says, is what Pritsker is looking to power small businesses and residents alike. State Representative Chris Miller, the Republican from Oakland, he said, listen, this whole green energy issue needs to be done away with, especially as Illinois has a vast amount of resources right underneath our feet.
We have over 200 billion tons of big, beautiful coal available. All we have to do is go get it. And, and it would be a tremendous driver for jobs and opportunity. This whole CEJA thing, this whole green energy scam needs to be thrown in the garbage where it belongs.
They're calling for people to come back to Springfield to deal with high energy costs. But it's not just them calling for legislators to come back to Springfield for high energy costs. You've also got organizations like the Illinois Clean Jobs Coalition that puts the blame on increased energy prices on the Trump administration. They're saying that the state needs to come back to deal with giving more subsidies to these types of clean energy, so-called green energy, wind and solar and battery facilities. They say as new federal policies make our power dirtier and more expensive, it's crucial that Illinois lawmakers can step up to the plate this fall session and pass the Clean and Reliable Grid Affordability Act to protect families from utility bill spikes, preserve and grow our clean energy workforce, and maintain our national leadership on climate action. So people are calling for the legislators to come back to deal with energy prices, but I guess it depends on what exactly that solution is going to look like. Stay with us with Illinois in Focus daily. It's the Center Square. Go to thecentersquare.com, get the headlines in your inbox, and wake up with us here each and every weekday morning on YouTube for Illinois in Focus Daily. That's all I got for you guys this morning. It's Monday. It's going to be
Since
a long
President
week.
Trump has taken office.
Yeah, gosh, I gotta remember to hit the stop button on that instead of letting it play through. All right, it's live to tape. That's what we do each and every weekday morning. So I hope you enjoy it. I hope you're informed and you're able to get on with your day. Awesome to see all the people in the chat room staying lively, keeping it clean, and talking about the issues. So you can do that each and every weekday morning as we go live here for Illinois in Focus Daily. I'll be back at it tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock, right here with YouTube and the Center Square. Till Valhalla, nothing new on the gun front. Except for, the hearing coming up. We'll definitely do that. We'll be back, guys.